Hello everyone, welcome to Snap Take. The July season is here today. Finally, a week into July, we've got the Fantastic Four First Step season, and we gotta do a full guide with 3 new decks for Mr. Fantastic First Steps. And by the way, when I said 3, I meant 4, because it's the Fantastic Four season. We're also going to talk very quickly about the Fantasticar and the implications of that being the premium season pass card. For anyone who has missed it, Mr. Fantastic First Steps is a new Season Pass card coming this season. End of turn, give a card in your hand -1 cost or +2 power. That seems like it's going to be very, very strong. However, there are going to be times when it hits the wrong card, when it gives the wrong card -1 cost, and that doesn't mean anything when it gives the wrong card +2 power, and you just needed that -1 cost. It's going to be a little variable. It's going to be higher variance than, say, a Surge, although the cards in your hand, you can choose to keep a card in your hand to hopefully get the negative cost or +2 power, whereas Surge is sort of at the mercy of your draw, and there's some things are only going to play at the end of the game. Even if you're going to play the card just at the end of the game, getting potentially more than one -1 cost, more than one +2 power, it's all going to work really well when combined together. So it's very hard for me to imagine many decks that don't at least want to look at this. Like, getting the -1 cost is obviously very strong, but almost any card in Marvel Snap really, really loves +2 power. There's a ton of cards that benefit from that buff more than once. We're talking about Brood, Sinister, Shaw, Clea, Captain Carter, Iron Man. All that stuff benefits more than once from getting plus power. You're getting +2 power, doubling that to fundamentally +4, or in Brood and Carter's case, +6 is insanely strong. I don't know if this is quite as good as Surge, because Surge does the negative and the plus, not or. So I'm not sure if this is quite as good as Surge. We're going to have to wait and see, but not quite as good as one of the 2 to 3 best cards in all of Marvel Snap. Is still pretty incredibly strong. I think decks are generally going to want to run both. Largely, the thing outside of like getting those key buff cards that's really good is Galactic, Gwenpool, Shang, Enchantress, Kahori, Ms. Marvel. All that style card absolutely adores straight up, is in love with the idea of having access to an occasional -1, an occasional +2, really messing with the opponent's math as they're trying to figure out what they have to play around. And that's how those decks win their cubes. Those are decks that win by small margins, and Fantastic First Step should be amazing for that. By the end of season, we will have an end turn deck probably using this card. That we're going to have to talk about at the end of the video, though. We'll talk about Fantasticar later, because that's not going to happen until the end of the video, and we are going to need at least Fantasticar for that. We are going to give away 1 copy of Mr. Fantastic First Steps to our viewers. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. We're giving away 5 this week. So as long as you sub, like, and comment, you have a chance to win one of 5 Mr. Fantastic First Steps this week. Every single video, commenting on that is a chance to win. All right. So Cambest, Cougar and Tucker created this deck basically at the same time as Cambest did at the start of last season when Surge came out. And this was everywhere for a little while and seems to have fallen out of favor. The name of this deck, according to Cam, was Second Zabu, because what you ultimately used Surge for was Second Zabu. You are running 4 4-drops, and you really, 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 really want some of them to be 3-drops. So you use Zabu and Surge to make that happen. Well, now you've got a 3rd Zabu. You've got Mr. Fantastic First Steps to be a 3rd Zabu. Also incredible, how about back to a 2-cost Hazmat, or a 5-power Hazmat? How about a 2-cost Luke Cage that you can play with a Man-Thing on turn 5? That kind of power is incredible. I think he's going to be simply insane in this deck, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it yet. But this is almost certainly where I'm going to start on stream tonight. You can find Cambest at twitch.tv/CambestMS. This deck needs Ajax, Man-Thing, Anti-Venom. Diamondback can be Gladiator, Cassandra Nova. Surge, it also needs Laufey. Laufey in my head because it was free, almost never registers as a high series card. Diamondback can be Gladiator, Cassandra Nova. Surge or Mr. Fantastic can be Scorpion, although I really, really do believe you want both. And Malekith can only be high series cards. You can use Frigga for the synergy with Anti-Venom, or you can Esme Cuckoo to give a chance to a 3. So let's talk about what each card does here. So Zabu makes your forest 3 nice and simple. No extra fuss, no muss. If you've drawn it already, you're sad, but outside of that, it's really good. A lot of the use of that is you really want to play Hazmat on turn 6 in this deck. You want to play Ajax on 5 and Hazmat on 6. So if you want to do that, one of your 4s for 3 is super pivotal. First Steps gives you an extra chance at that, but also just a 9-power Anti-Venom, a 4-power Luke Cage, a 1-cost Surge that you can fit into your curve easily. All those things are incredibly useful to have. That First Steps give you access to fundamentally unpredictability in what is generally a more predictable deck. Surge works as Zabu, -1/+1, very simply good. Luke Cage is your protection card. It is often the most important card. You want to make sure your Man-Thing and your Lofty in particular aren't absolutely ruining you. Luke does that. Luke also turns Hazmat into like a 310 or more, which is also very, very strong. Red Guardian is fundamentally your answer to opposing Luke Cage. It's also just a powerful card to have access to in any deck. It just happens to give negative power for Ajax as well. Diamondback, it doubles any negatives, so Diamondback in a Man-Thing or a Lofty lane feels often like an auto win. It's incredibly strong. If you don't get any of your 3 Zabu Fantastic Surge cards, it's almost always the card you're going to play with Hazmat on the last turn of the game, so it ends up being just a lane-winning lead, like 311 super powerful card. Hazmat gives negatives to everything. That is obviously here to make Ajax as big as possible, but again, it also works with Diamondback, and with Luke, you can really, really sing in terms of getting ahead of your opponents. Lofty is almost always your backup Hazmat here. You're trying to Lofty as many cards as possible, using him to win a lane. He gets absolutely huge, and he doesn't have to worry about what cost your opponent's running. Malekith has 3 mediocre hits and 4 great hits. You don't really want to hit Zabu, Fantastic, or Surge with Malekith. They will turn him into a 4-8, which is acceptable, but seeing Luke Cage when you wouldn't otherwise, seeing Red Guardian, Diamondback, and especially Hazmat when you wouldn't otherwise, are all incredibly power and let Malekith play for far more stats than he's worth. Anti-Venom lets you cheat energy. It's basically Sarah for this deck that can't afford to run Sarah while also having great stats. Man-Thing, you want to play in a lane where your opponent's already started to stack cheap stuff. It can play as a 411, 413, and then Ajax plays as like a 517 or more. Again, just tons of power in this one. So turn 1 Zabu, turn 2 Surge or Fantastic. Turn 3, if we can play Anti-Venom, Man-Thing, or Malekith, we do. Luke or Diamondback are totally fine. Turn 4, we want to play a 4-drop, and turn 5, we want to play Ajax. Turn 6, we're going Hazmat and Diamondback, or Hazmat and a 4 for 3, and then we should win because we put out 10 million power. Generally speaking, remember, on turn 4, we'd like to play Anti-Venom or Malekith. On turn 6, we will play Malekith still, but we'd like to play Lofty and Hazmat, or Man-Thing and Hazmat, and just sort of win that way. Tons of power. You don't need Ajax to win. This deck basically says Malekith plays as a 4-8, so if it sees a Diamondback like a 4, 15, right? Because that's 11, 4-17. Lofty plays as a 4-13, so does Man-Thing. So there's just a lot of power in this deck. You should be able to win through those just really, really extremely powerful 4-drops, and then you should be able to sort of just cheat and make it all work together with fantastic first steps. Before we go forward, just a quick reminder to hit that sub, like, and comment if you're willing to. If you want 7 days a week of Marvel Snap videos, it would really help us out. Next up, we've got Fantastic's Buffland. This is there's a buff deck that's near the top of the meta right now. It is fundamentally this list. I thought, since we're buffing things anyway, Fantastic First Steps might make some sense here, right? We want to hit particularly Shaw and Brood with some buffs, and so we got America, and Sinister with some buffs. We got America, we got Surge, we got Okoye, we got Fastos, we got Galactic, we got Gwempool, and now we have First Steps. So anything to get that extra buffs and really amplify it. The only card I think we really, really need here is Gwempool. Mr. Fantastic or Surge can be Merlin. Fastos can be Nakia. Shaw can be Enchantress, Captain Marvel, or Carter. I believe in the top version right now it's Enchantress, but I do really, really think Shaw is underrated. People are like, but Shaw can be Shaw. Yeah, I know. You're playing him on the last turn and just watching that 17 power Shaw win the game. And then Galactic can be Kahori, particularly if you're running Shaw. This may also want Herbie. At Daily Reset today on Comic Book Click, the Comic Book Click YouTube, I will have a video breaking down Herbie. Please do me a favor, if you enjoy these videos, if you watch regularly, go check out Comic Book Click, where we're doing a new card every week. Alright, so America Chavez, it wants to buff cards. It's a 1-drop that wants to buff cards, right? It's really easy. You hit the Sinister, you hit the Shaw, you hit the Brood. You get +4 for America on Sinister, +6 on Shaw, +4 on Shaw, +6 on Brood. It's really nice. You're happy to have it. Okoye does the same basic thing, right? You're doubling Okoye's buff on Sinister and Brood. You're getting +3 when you hit Shaw. Great stuff. Okoye is less good here. You can see Okoye being the cut with Mr. Fantastic being added. We're still in the, obviously, discovery process. We are running 3 4-drops, so Zabu is great. Having access to any of these at 3, whether that be on turn 3 or with a 3 at the end of the game, is incredible. Shang-Chi at the end of the game with Sebastian Shaw is backbreaking. Fantastic and Surge give you that extra power, and they both also are getting their buffs enhanced. Again, Sinister, Brood, and Shaw are our big buffs. Fastos, Mr. Fantastic and Surge give us energy cheat, and then like we just have all these buffers, like Galactic Gwenpool putting up tons and tons of power. And then of course sometimes we can't go over the top of things, and power must be controlled. Zabu over America, Surge or Fantastic on 2 over Okoye. Turn 3, Galactor Gwenpool over Fastos over a 2+1. Turn 4, we're going Galactor Gwenpool. And if you see the name in white, that means this is a snap condition. Green means a potential snap condition if things go right. So Galactor or Gwenpool on 4 can still be snaps. You can go 2+2 if you must, but now we're probably looking to run unless we're getting very good hits with our Surge/Fantastic. Turn 5, Buff Brood and a 2-drop. Then turn 6, Sinister and Shang, or Shang and Shaw, something along those lines. And then you should be able to win, because this is just a ton of power. And it's a ton of unpredictable power, right? This lanes can go, let's say you hit Brood with 1 Fantastic buff, so it's now going to play for 12, right? You got 1 Fantastic buff and 1 Okoye buff, so you're playing it for 15. So now, and that's forgetting Gwenpool Galactor, right? You go from 0 to 15 in a lane that the opponent wasn't expecting, you're fairly likely to win that lane out of nowhere. The opponent probably thinks that lane was won and isn't competing. That kind of thing is what this deck does and why it is so freaking strong. I am beyond excited to play this list. This is one of the lists I'm planning on playing right away as soon as Daily Reset happens. Before we go forward, please check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer, where I will be streaming, hopefully tonight, barring me eating too many tacos, because I'm going to all-you-can-eat taco night before I come home and stream this game. All right, our season pass question is there isn't actually going to be a thing. Our winner from last week, by the way, of a PAX code is Cthulhu6922. Hey, Cthulhu, claim your prize. But make sure you're following here at YouTube.com/SnapChatPod, and any like and comment. It's completely free parking. Any like and comment will enter you to win the season pass. All right, next up, Redwing is fantastic. So we've got this Redwing deck that's kind of everywhere. It's running right now Shadow King, and I haven't actually liked Shadow King very much, so I want to try Fantastic First Steps in it. Getting the cards that are bigger here, getting the small cards, getting like the Lunas and the Redwings to 8 power to 7 power seems really good. Having the ability to on turn 4 go Redwing and Zorn seems really good. Being able to like sometimes get the blink out a turn early without having to see Luna. All of these things are absolutely incredible, and I'm very, very excited to try this combination of cards in the list. Chirpy is the originator of this version of the archetype. Thursday was the original like Redwing Vulture ramp, and we've come far since then. This deck needs Madam Web, Redwing, and Luna. Zorn can be Cloak. Mr. Fantastic, Surge can be Armor and Shadow King. Hulkling can be Red Hulk, and Blink can be Jubilee. Okay, so Madam Web is here largely to move your Vulture and to move your Redwing. It's nice that you have that extra use for it. Being able to move the Redwing, you'll move it anytime you've got basically a 66% chance or higher of hitting one of your big cards. So you enjoy that combo. Vulture's probably only going to get 1 move, so he's only going to be a 3/9, but a 3/9 is still pretty damn good stats. Zorn is your way to do that immediately. Madam Web is your way to do that more slowly. Web has the added bonus of being able to like if you play Gigantobottom 5, thanks to whatever nonsense on Madam Web, you can just move that to another location. That kind of thing is really useful. Just taking a big and saying you don't know where that big is going to be, taking Cosmo and saying you don't know where that Cosmo is going to be are very useful. Zorn has the defensive benefit of being able to sort of mess up where your opponent plays their cards, also reasonably useful. First Steps and Surge are trying to make things cheaper mostly. The +1 power is nice, but making things cheaper is absolutely huge in this list. Being able to just cold drop an Emperor Hulkling on turn 5, cold drop a Blink on turn 4 is great. Cosmo protects your big stuff and messes up your opponents. Luna lets you ramp immediately into Blink while keeping extra energy, and gives you the ability to play a 6 on turn 5. Luna's other real use here is that she's just a decent-sized body. It's nice to have a 3/6. That could be a 3/8 or 3/7 relatively easily. So turn 1, you want to pass. Turn 2, Zorn or Web over Surge or Fantastic, unless you're sure you have some good time later, right? If you have all your big cards in the deck, you don't have to Zorn Web right now. If you have Vulture, you probably want to Zorn Web. So Vulture on Zorn Web on turn 3, Redwing if it like 66% chance of good hit, and if not, you're playing Luna. And if you don't have any of that, drop Surge or Fantastic. Turn 4, we're going Blink on Luna, where or a used Redwing, or we can go 2/2. Zorn and Web here are good with a Redwing after Luna, and sometimes you can go Zorn or Web with Redwing now. Turn 5, we drop a 6, or we can drop Zorn, Web, and Redwing, or we can drop Blink. And then turn 6, a 6 cost guard, or Cosmo and Redwing move. Then we win, or Cosmo and Vulture move. And then we win because this deck puts up 3 crap tons of points. It's a beauty. This one's straight up a beauty. I think you should definitely play it. It is one of the stronger and more unpredictable decks. If you're the type of person who really loved Hela, and you can get close to accessing this deck, I know it's reasonably expensive. If you can get close to accessing this deck, I think it is definitely worthwhile to do. If you're looking for gameplay, I've been very busy. I'm in the process of moving to literally the other end of the world, moving to Vietnam in about 8 days now. So if you are interested, 7 days, something like that. If you're interested in seeing some streams, and while I'm away, please check out the stream team. Where today, Prashawn will be streaming at 12 p.m. Eastern. Go check it out. Tomorrow we'll have Game of Flash X playing a ton of the new cards as well. All right, after those Fantastic Four decks, let's quickly talk Fantasticar. Fantasticar is a 4/7 activate, give your end of the turn cards a +2 power. And I straight up do not think this card is especially good right now. If it is good, I will be surprised. The cards it's really good with that are end of turn, this is a list of every end of turn card, are Adam Warlock, that you're only getting that buff on turn 5. Hydra Bob, great. 4/6 is suddenly amazing. Makari, turning that to a 3/5 is amazing. The Thing and Human Torch get extra benefit as well. Those cards will be out later this season. We'll talk about them as we get closer. But for the time being, I'm very mid on this. I'm very meh on this. Getting an extra 2 on Havoc, an extra 2 on Theal. Those are nice, but I'm not sure I care. So I tried to come up with a deck that uses this. I think that this deck is... I think that the Bast and Agent Venom on this list are probably wrong, but I'm pretty sure... which means Cassandra Nova is wrong. But I'm pretty sure there's something reasonably close to this, because if I play, and it doesn't seem unreasonable to me to play Fantastic, Thena, Marvel Boy in one game, I've now got a... Fantasticar is playing as a 4/13, and that seems like it's probably worthwhile. So Fantasticar, Nico, Thena, Marvel Boy, and Sage are required cards. Agent Venom could be Surge or Bruce. I think it probably should be Surge. Maybe it should be Bruce to get that extra buff. Cass will be Human Torch first step, second comes out. It could also be Makari. Bast Agent Venom might just be wrong and open a different cost. Merlin seems to fit great here, and I'm pretty sure Squirrel Girl fits really, really well as well. As just a way to really maximize my Marvel Boy. Again, I think this list is really cool, right? The idea here being that we can go... maybe we're cutting the hood for Merlin. I don't know. I'm almost there. I'm almost at what I think the right version of this deck is. I'm not quite there, but I am going to figure this out. This is something I'm going to mess with. We're going to get to a good deck here. Maybe we don't want Warlock, but then the buff on Warlock is so good, and the draw is so good. I'm back and forth. So the idea here is you're playing this like the small good Havoc list with this big +6 bump. We definitely want Havoc, right? Like we have to re-add Havoc to this list because our goal is to basically play Kitty and one card off curve, right? So we want to go like on turn 3, we want to go Thena and Kitty. And then turn 4, we want to go Marvel Boy and Kitty. And then turn 5, we want to go Fantasticar and Kitty. And then turn 6, we want to go whatever else, right? And then trigger Fantasticar, whatever other end turn cards. And I think that we're probably going to need Havoc to be one of those. But I think that, like, there's close. We're almost there for something with this list. So turn 1 is just a 1-drop. Turn 2 is Mr. Fantastic. That's better than Warlock, which is equal to Thena. Turn 3, Thena +1 over Marvel Boy over Cassandra. Turn 4, Marvel Boy +1 over 2/2. And then turn 5, Fantasticar +1. And then turn 6, Sage plus, and then you trigger Fantasticar. Again, there's something here. Is this going to be better than the classic Havoc list? I'm not sure. Adding a 13 to 15 power card to that list seems like it could be really, really good, or it could be absolutely a nothing burger. We're going to have to wait and see, but I am excited to give this one some run. Again, if we can cut Agent Venom, Bast, and Hood from it, we might end up in a better spot. We gotta play. We gotta mess with it. I'm curious. I think we're close to a really good deck. Although the Fantasticar being an extra $10 on top of the season pass is super annoying and terrible. I'm not going to go on the same rant I did yesterday, but I talked about it. It frustrates me. I think it's a very bad decision for the future of Marvel Snap as a global game in countries where the dollar carries different value. But for the time being, I do think that Fantasticar is a interesting card in and of itself. If I don't think it's going to be great yet. Look, a potential 4/11 fairly easily is at least worth looking at, right? That's it. Questions of the day, and then we're out of here today. So Logical Knot says, we're always wrong about power level of new cards. Theory crafting is much more diverse from actually playing card than we often realize, and it takes weeks for cards to truly reflect their potential. That said, I do think it's an important skill to consider where we might have missed the power to release cards. Given this, I'm curious if you have any thoughts regarding previously released card. Any thoughts regarding the difference between your day one thoughts of Surge, I apparently forgot the S, when you thought the card was mediocre, and now when you think the card is very good? What changed in your experience in theory? So, there have been several cards that are just like -1 cost or +1 power type cards that don't end up very good. I was comparing Surge to Fastos, who didn't end up very good. They never, however, tried Fastos as a 2-drop, and I'm pretty sure Fastos as a 2-drop now would be broken. I underestimated the difference between 2 and 3 cost. I wanted to be incredibly excited about Surge, right? Because I was incredibly excited about Fastos. I thought it was going to be the best card of its month. And I was once burned, twice shy, but it turns out I should have like doubled down on my previous thing instead of like revising my previous take. The ore Fastos is a real problem, meaning that it doesn't always do something useful. That it really has to be played on turn 3 is a problem, but Surge on turn 2, it doesn't really matter nearly as much when it doesn't work. When it doesn't hit, you're like, all right, I got a 2/2, who cares? You're like -1 power what you would have done on turn 2 anyway, and you'll still probably get that power back because eventually you'll end up playing that card, even if the cost doesn't matter. So I think like I really, really underestimated the difference between a 2 and a 3 in a fairly major way, and I over anchored myself on the mistake that was Fastos. Reminder, we'll have a second video going over what I think is going to be a ridiculously cool card. Not necessarily the best, but the coolest card of the season, Herbie, at Comic Book Click. We're trying to help our friends YouTube grow, so make sure you check that out later today. Turn to support on our Patreon. Come with honor. Thanks if you're interested in checking out patreon.com/snapjudgments. Thank you to Jonesy Snap 22. Thank you to Abigail Houston, Mentor Burner, It, Rick, Carlos, LEB, Inc., I Am Frostman, Hota Never Dead, Prime Brian, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood Snap, Ren Wrench, Kertix Lee, Kazushi, Archangel, 3K, Black Dahlia, Profos, The Goat Seeker, Code, Hallowed, Only Fox, Synth, Fat Nick, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mystiker, Fuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Breakfast, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the James Jones, The Business, Black Sheep 23, XRC and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Mr. Slusheth, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Steve O, 131, Kevsey Hoda Clam, Colonel Foreman, Rob Sullivan, David G, Winfield Steven, Brian Kaufman, Just Nature Martin, Jason B, Mr. Craig Sterry, Matt B, Corey, Corwin, John Q, Jim McHugh, Yes Out, Ace 1 for Bad, Milkman for Real, Sketch Jack, Reapser, Yo Marco, Ted Pro, Cook for Joe, Stop Justin Joe, Dick Carlo, 220, Miles Nuts Supreme, Bickety Boom Bot, Brick Stew Click, Green Goblin, Unibot V2, Flan 56, Spectrumix, Root, Ocularis, Matt H, DJ Mike Hydrings, No Freaking Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Toxic Soul King, Zodrex, The King of Canada, JJ, Deadman, Falcon, Falkler, Noman, Two Dies, The Great Lord Des, The Fire King Tucker, and of course, Gunny T. And whoo! Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and I will see you on Comic Book Click later today, and hopefully on stream tonight. If not, I'll catch you back here tomorrow morning like we do every day. Peace.